Alright everybody, welcome back to The Life Plays. This is another Decktech for you, coming at you with some Planeswalker Tribal here in Golgari? Yeah, that's right. So, Carth the Lion, I've been experimenting with a bunch of different walker lists for a while. I've done Jeskai, I've done different, I have some other ones on the channel with like Simic and some other fun ones, but I just wanted to try Carth out. He seems like he's a blast. So if you don't know, Carth is 2 black and a green for a 3/5. And when he enters the battlefield or a planeswalker you control dies, you look at the top 7 cards of your library and you may reveal a planeswalker from among them, put it in your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. He also gives your planeswalker's loyalty abilities a +1 to activate. So let's just dive into this, yeah? So we're going to start with some ramp. So we got some Llanowar Elves, some Elves of Deep Shadow, some Bop, Sakura Tribelda. We got my Soul Ring here. It's just on the sleeve. It's not on the Mana Crypt. We got Talisman of Resilience. We got our Golgari Signet. Arcane Signet. Pretty classic stuff there when we start off. Going into some token makers, right? So we got Bitter Blossom. Love this art. So pretty. So this one just gives us some flying blockers. Really nice. Love that. Going to run Dread Horde Invasion just for the tokens, but also, we do have Lilianas in here, so we do get some sort of zombie synergy, but really, it's in here for the upkeep and just getting those bodies in our way to block for our walkers. Same thing with Ophiomancer, in here to make death-touching snakes to just really get in the way. Kaya's Ghost Form, really excellent for planeswalkers, right? If they exile it with a some sort of thing, or just it dies, super, super good to just bring it back for 1 black mana. Really nice when you're going to ult a walker and just get it right back. And then we are running a bunch of fogs. So we're running base OG kind of fog here. We're going to run Tangle. This card is crazy. Tangle is nuts. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt, and then attacking creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap steps. Whoo, wild. Obscuring Haze. I really like Obscuring Haze, especially in a deck like this. We're going to have Carth out. It's just, he's such a huge value engine for us, and just being able to have this for free is really, really nice. And it also only prevents damage that would be dealt by creatures your opponents control. So if you have a bunch of tokens on board and you start blocking up, you can then Obscuring Haze to just kill the things that you can kill, and then, stop a lethal swing. Really, really good. And then we're also going to run Sudden Spoiling. So this is another type of fog effect, or at least how we're trying to run it, but it can also really just throw a damper in your opponent's plans. Split second, so you cast this, just goes right out. No one can really stop it. It's awesome. Super, super good. And then it just makes all of their creatures 0/2s and lose all abilities. So if they're swinging at you, you can fog it out with this. Super good. Really, really love that card. Silent Arbiter, I put this in this category because that's essentially what we're trying to do with this, is have enough tokens to just block, and if only one thing can attack and one thing can block, really can help us out. And then we're going to get into some Planeswalker, I guess, just synergy pieces here. So Peregrine Dynamo can really help us with its haste. It's a 1/5 body, which is great for us, but also being able to copy target activated or triggered ability from another legendary source that's not a commander. Really, really good to just double up on some of those walkers. Chain Veil, for doubling walker abilities, we're running Chain Veil, baby. Gotta do it. And then for double upping on our tokens, we're going to run Innkeeper's Talent. This one is by far, I think, one of the best ones for us, just because it comes down early, can start buffing up Carth. He's already a 3/5, so it's pretty awesome just to get him huge, and then he's just this huge wall that no one can get through. I really enjoy that. And then giving them Ward, and then also just doubling up on counters is really, really nice. Peer, just another body, which is great, but it comes in, if one or more counters will be put on a permanent your team controls, that many +1 is put on instead. Really cool there. Doubling Season, classic reason to play green for Planeswalkers, right? You play it, it doubles, you ult. It's so, so fun. And then same thing with Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider. I would say if you needed to cut one of these, I think Vorinclex is probably the most expensive nowadays. So you could definitely cut him for some other value creature. But, I mean, I'm running Planeswalkers in green specifically for this effect to double up my tokens on my Planeswalkers when they come out, so they can just come down, they can ult, and just cause so much chaos. And then we are running a few proliferative effects, but this one's just very flexible, right? Cankerbloom, it can destroy artifacts, enchantments, it can just proliferate, so that's really, really nice. We're also going to run Yawgmoth. Excellent. I love that this guy's dropped, so he's so useful. Pro-Humans is great. Pay 1 life, sack another creature. Our tokens are just So many of these planeswalkers make tokens, and you just have so many all the time. You can discard cards, proliferate, draw cards. Oh, he's such an engine. And then we're going to run Agent Frank Horrigan because of his ETB and attack trigger to proliferate twice. I mean, he's a huge 8/6, very top-end kind of thing. And where else are you going to run this guy, you know? I mean, he's super fun. We are running a little bit in the card draw category because Carth helps us draw cards a lot anyway and keeps our hand fresh of walkers just because we ult them, we use them, they die, we get more. Super, super nice. But Reiki is really good. I mean, anytime we play a legendary spell, we draw a card. You know, all of our walkers, stuff like that. We're just going to be drawing cards left and right. And then we're in Golgari, so why don't we run Mosswood Dread Knight? This card is so good. Just draws cards. It's a body all the time. When it dies, you draw more cards. You make the body back. It's so cheap, so effective. We are in walkers, so we are going to just be running a lot of removal. So we're going to run Assassin's Trophy to get rid of those problematic permanents. Drown in Ichor. It's sorcery speed removal, but it does proliferate, and it gives -4/-4, so it can really get around some effects, but it's really in here just because it's a 2-mana nice removal with proliferate on it. It's pretty cool. Oath of Liliana. I mean, it's thematic, but also it's just good. You know, it just makes each opponent sack a creature, and then whenever a Planeswalker ETBs under your control, if it happened on your end step, or if it happened this turn on your end step, you make a 2/2 zombie. So it's removal when it comes down. It's just value, gets more tokens. It's super nice. We're running some classics. You know, we're going to hit some damnation up in here, you know, just wreck the board, clear it out. Toxic Deluge, same thing. Just get all these creatures out of here. We don't need them. Culling Ritual, insane card. I love this card. It's so good. You just wipe dorks, tokens, all this stuff. Just clear out the map, and it can really set you up. Culling Ritual is a great engine for us because we are making a lot of tokens, and we do have some of those cheap cards. So you can cast a Culling Ritual and then reap so much benefits that I've been able to, like, Doubling Season, Walker, alt, and just change the game. And it was all because of a Culling Ritual. So I really, really stand by this card. Blasphemous Edict. Sometimes you don't need to destroy. You know, they're indestructible. So you need to have them sacrifice them. And this one, having 13 creatures in play is really nothing wild. And being able to play 1 black for a Blasphemous Edict is just so good. This card's so strong. I love it. Meathook Massacre. Just more removal, you know, and it helps us just kind of mitigate that life loss because we're going to make tokens and we're just going to help do that. And then it's a -X/-X, so it can be really nice just to clear the board. And then, surprise, surprise, a large majority of this deck, about 25 to be exact, so we have a good ratio here, are going to be Planeswalkers. So let's start with Garruk. We have a few different ones. This one is Garruk Unleashed. So you can't really read them. All the words are so tiny, but essentially, up to 1 target creature gets +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. Whatever. We don't really care. I mean, it's nice. We do have a lot of combat tricks on our walkers, just being in green. But really, what he's in here for is we just can create beast tokens. And with Carth out, it's only a -1, and then it can get net 0 if other people have more tokens or more creatures than you, because you create a beast, and then if an opponent controls more creatures than you put a loyalty counter on Garruk, so it can effectively 0 and just make 3/3s. And then his -7 is pretty nice, where you can just, at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a creature, put it into play. So definitely not what he's here for, but the token making, the buffing, it can really just help us get some damage in. He's just such a nice walker to have. And his loyalty ability is a threat, so it can draw a lot of aggro, because people don't know what kind of creatures you have in your list. Garruk Wildspeaker, one of the most awesome walkers we have in here. Just his +1 to untap 2 lands can just ramp you into your other planeswalkers so well going into the next few turns. And then he can -1 to make more tokens. And then his +3/+3 and +3/+3 and trample ability on his ult is also pretty nice, because we make so many tokens throughout our walkers, throughout our enchantments, all that kind of stuff, that I've also swung in for tons of damage because you have Garruk and there's other walkers who have buffs, and you just do that, and then you can just swing right through because you get trample. And it's so funny that this deck can do that. Primal Hunter, make more beasts, you know, that's great. You can draw cards. That's awesome. You make 6/6 worm tokens equal to the lands you control. Just a really all-star here. I mean, everything about this is so good for anything we need to do. One of our strongest ones, too, here is going to be the Cursed Huntsman. So you can 0 him and make 2/2/2 wolf creatures. And then when they die, you put a loyalty counter on each Garruk you control, which is wild to me. You can also blow up creatures, drawing cards. You get an emblem. This time it's an emblem, not just a buff for the turn to give +3/+3 and trample. So really, really nice. Like that one. All right, now let's get into Nissa. We have a bunch of Nissas on the stack here. We are going to be making just plant tokens, which is great. You know, it can make stuff stronger. It's really nice. It can draw you more cards, gain you more life. This one is just so nice to come down on 3 and just start cluttering up your board with little plant tokens. Nissa Shadowed. This has a landfall planeswalker ability. Whenever a land ETB is under your control, you put a loyalty counter on it. You can untap target land you control, have it become a 3/3. It has haste and menace, which that's still really nice, but what that's really useful for here is you can use the mana and then uptick Nissa, untap the land, and just ramp that way. We have a lot of land untappers on planeswalkers, which is pretty cool. And then it's -5, is you can put a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control onto the battlefield from your hand or graveyard, and you put 2+1/+1 counters on it. So that can be kind of situational, but still pretty cool. Nissa World Waker. This bad lady. She's 5 mana, and she untaps up to 4 target forests. Pretty wild, and that's an uptick. And then another one is target land you control becomes a 4/4 with trample. That's nice because it's the same kind of stuff. It doesn't untap it, but you know, still can get a nice big blocker out there for you. And then it's -7 is you search your library for any number of basic land cards, put them into play, then shuffle. These lands become 4/4s with trample. Still lands, definitely pretty interesting with World Waker. And then we got Nissa Vital Force. Untap target land. You know, I keep saying it. That's what we're going to be doing. It's still a land, and this one becomes a 5/5 with haste. And it's until your next turn. So it's not always out there, but still pretty nice. It's got recursion on its minus. Return target permanent from your graveyard to your hand can help get planeswalkers back, you know, or lands that might have been killed when you animate them. And then it's -6 is you can get an emblem with whenever a land ETBs, draw a card. And it's not a must, it's a may. So when you activate, you know, some of these other ones where you just search a ton of lands, you don't have to draw a ton of cards, but you get to. Nissa Who Shakes the World. Such a powerful walker, right? I mean, whenever you tap a forest, you get an additional green. You can also put 3+1/+1 counters on one target non-creature land you control. Untap it. They're that same thing. It becomes a 0/0 with vigilance and haste. Still pretty nice. It's still land. But her -8 is you get an emblem with all your lands are indestructible. Well, your lands have indestructible. And you search your library for any number of forests and put them onto the battlefield tapped. Really, really strong. And with a doubling season, you can drop her an alt. And then she's still alive. So really strong. And then Nissa Ascendant Animus. This one is so good. That +XX green horror, I mean, that has just saved me from being swung at a few different times. Because if you pay the full cost for the completed cost, or, you know, whatever you're going to pay, but if you can get this thing down at 7, and then you can uptick it with Carth, and it goes to 9, and then you put an XX into play, where X is its loyalty, crazy. And then it has a minus that's so flexible, where you destroy an artifact or enchantment, which is great. And then it's -7 can potentially be a huge, huge board buff, where you get +1/+1 for each forest you control and trample until end of turn. I've combined this with the other Garrick ability, and just give your stuff +6/+6 sometimes, or even more. Just depends on how many forests you have. It's really strong. Now we get into the Lilies. So we got Liliana the Veil, very classic. You know, discard cards, make people sack creatures, or it's crazy backbreaking ultimate here. And that is one of the reasons I love these Golgari Planeswalkers, is the black and the green just really gets you some backbreaking walker alts here. And this one is separate all permanents target player controls into 2 piles. They pick one and sack the other pile. So nuts. Liliana of the Dark Realms, such a flexible card here for 4 mana. You can search your library for a swamp, put it in your hand so it can ramp you. You can kill things here where you can either give +X/+X or -X/-X, where X is the number of swamps you control. Or you can get an emblem where swamps now tap for 4 black. That's wild to me. Waker of the Dead. This one is definitely a really awesome control piece for us. So each player discards a card. Each player who can't loses 3 life. But then target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. So pretty easy to get. And then you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. So really, really powerful. Yet another one that is 4. So if you doubling season, it can immediately come down an alt. Really, really strong. And its removal has been super, super helpful sometimes, where you just got to get rid of something. And then we're going to have Liliana Vess. This one just target player discards card, but really what she does so good is her -2. Just vamp tutor, just search your library for a card, then shuffle your library, put that card on top. And then she does have put all creature cards in all graveyards under the battlefield under your control. So she has a tutor and an incredible ultimate here just to shut down the game. Super, super awesome. Really can just be such a huge threat. And the reason I love these walkers with huge threatening ultimates is then when you start getting a few of them out there, I mean, I don't know if you've played a walker list and had one that's like, I've had them anytime you play a walker, they just get hit, but it's much better to have one that it's like, okay, these ones deserve to be hit. Some of the ones that I was running in some of the previous iterations, like they were big value engines, but they didn't close out games. You can resolve any of these ults, and a lot of them just are so powerful that they just put you in such a commanding position. So it's so much more risk reward here that's why I really enjoy it. Sorry for the glare. Whenever a creature you control dies with Liliana Dreadhorde General, you draw a card. Amazing, amazing card draw. You make 2/2 zombie. You can make a 2/2 zombie, which is cool. And then each player sacks 2 creatures. So good. And then -9. Each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and then sacks the rest. I mean, if you ult this Lily, it's over. Like you just send everybody else back to the Stone Age, and it's so powerful. You can just be in such a controlling position from there. So that's our Lilies. Moving on to our Vareskas. So this one, you can sack, draw cards, gain life. That's great. You can, she has flexible removal for non-land permanents. Or you can just get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, they just lose the game. Pretty crazy. Same kind of vein here with Vraska the Unseen. Until the end of your next turn, this one's really, really nice. I love the protection on this Vraska. So you uptick her. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to Vraska the Unseen, destroy that creature. And then also has destroy target non-land permanent. And then its ult is put 3 1/1 black assassins onto the battlefield that have, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. Pretty threatening ultimate when she comes in at 5 and ults for 7. Vraska Betrayal's Sting. Very powerful too. We have so much card draw on our walkers that we just are never really running low. And I love this one. Just the removal here is so powerful, just to turn things into treasures. Target creature just becomes a treasure with sack this artifact, add 1 mana of any color, and then loses all other card types and abilities. So you can really shut down stuff with this, and I love it. And then it has card draw and proliferation, and its ultimate can just really wreck somebody out with just getting them to 9 poison counters. Just wild to me. And then we're going to run Vraska Relic Seeker. So this one makes a 2/2 pirate token with menace. That's great for, it's a +2, which is really nice, really builds loyalty, so she's going to take some hits. She can also destroy artifacts, creatures, or enchantments, and then create treasure, which is great. And then her -10 is just target player's life becomes 1. So she's a great anti-life gain command or card to have in your list, just knowing that you can just be like, okay, you're at 1 billion life. I don't care. You're now at 1. And then, then we can use other things like, you can even use Sorin to just finish the deal. If you have Sorin the Mirthless, or if you have our other Sorin out, or Ugin, or other things. So this Sorin Mirthless, he looks at the top card of your library. You can reveal it and put it in your hand. If you do, lose life equal to its mana value. So it's kind of card draw, very selective. It's card selection, really, but super, super helpful. You can make 2/3 flying vampires with lifelink, which is great. -7 is just nuking stuff. You deal 13 damage, gain 13 life, can really just set you up for some success there. We are going to run Sorin Markov because who doesn't love even without anything, he can come down and immediately nuke someone's life to 10, which is so strong. And then he can uptick to just like deal with problems. He can deal 2 damage to target creature or player, and then you gain life. And then you can also control target player's next turn. He just has some really, really powerful abilities to him. Now we get to our more unique planeswalkers, where we're only running one of. So we're running Wrenn and Realmbreaker. This one, just everything is so good on this one. Typically, we're just going to be wanting to use its second ability a lot of the time to mill and get lands and stuff like that. But it does have the ability to turn one of your lands into a creature for a little bit. But this one is Vigilance and Hexproof and Haste, which that can be pretty nice. And then its -7 is an excellent emblem where we can just play lands and permanents. So we have infinite access to our planeswalkers if we are able to get that emblem. but its -2 is so nice, where you just mill 3 and you can put a permanent from among the milled cards into your hand, so it can really help you secure lands or just get more walkers out. It's just such a nice flexible card. Grist, the Hunger Tide. So the foiling on this one might make it a little weird to read, but essentially it counts as a creature as long as it isn't on the battlefield. It is a 1/1 insect in addition to its other types. So just keep that in mind. You can still definitely find it with Carth, not Garth. You uptick it for +1, create a 1/1 black and green insect, and then you mill a card. And then we don't have any other really insect stuff. That's not really a big synergy, but it's really nice just to have more insects, and then you can sacrifice with its down tick to destroy target creature, or if someone else is running planeswalkers, you can blow theirs up. Or each opponent just loses life equal to the number of creatures in your graveyard. So that's definitely not what we're going to have a ton of, but it's not like we don't have any, so we can still hit them where it hurts. But the big thing is it's a 3-mana planeswalker that comes down, makes bodies, has removal. Teversat, Doom of Fools. This guy is everything. He has every ability is so strong. He makes 2 at once for a +2 and a +3 if you have Carth out. And then you just make 2/0/1s, great blockers, awesome. You can also sacrifice another creature to draw 2 cards, and then you draw another one if you sacked a commander, and then it's -10. You just steal all commanders. Doesn't matter where they are. Are they in the command zone? Give them to me. Are they in play? Give them to me. It's so nice. And that one is just so scary that he does draw a lot of hate just for that. And then a big bad OG, we got Ugin. Right, Ugin upticks, deals 3 damage. He's just great spot removal. He can also just, if things get too crazy, too out of hand, Ugin can come down, exile everything. Right, he comes in with 7 loyalty, so odds are you can just clear the board of whatever you need it to be. And then if you can get to his ultimate, it's everything. Right, I mean, imagine you draw 7 cards, and then you can put 7 permanents into play. That could be planeswalkers. That could be more lands to cast more planeswalkers. You could do doubling season and just, it's crazy. You get Ugin and you ult him, it's over for your opponents, right? Just such value. So, all right, let's go into lands. So we are going to run Blooming Marsh, Wastewood Verge, Necroblossom Snarl, Llanowar Wastes, Undergrowth Stadium, Woodland Cemetery, Twilight Mire, Overgrown Tomb, Tainted Wood, and Revitalizing Repast. So this one can give a creature +1/+1 indestructible into turn. It's really nice, but it's also a dual land that comes in tapped on its other side. But this really just helps us make sure that we can secure the dual side, or we can just hit our colors when we need to. Same thing with Command Tower and Exotic Orchard. And then a really flexible, fun Planeswalker one is just Interplanar Beacon. You know, if you're running Planeswalkers, I just think it makes sense. You know, we have 25 in the deck, and whenever you cast a Walker, you just gain life. It can also just filter to the exact colors you need. You know, if you need double black, you need double green, whatever. Sometimes it can be hard. We're also running Plaza of Heroes. This is specifically for protection for Carth, but it does allow us to add a mana of any color among legendary permanents you control, and it comes in untapped. So it can be essentially just another green-black untapped source, as long as you're you're just doing stuff like that, and then you can pay 3 and just protect a legendary creature, so we can keep Carth out, because his +1 ability and his just ability to, when they do kill our walkers, we just get another one to our hand, just gets that sense of inevitability that Carth allows us to have, and it's just super, super nice. So protecting him is pretty good too. Same thing with Talon Gates. So you can either use it to phase out Carth, so that way you can do things like that, or someone has a huge threat, you can phase it out. That's also pretty nice. Or you need to get through. There's a bunch of different uses for Talon Gates, but I love the card. It's super, super fun. We're also going to run Karn's Bastion. I mean, we're in Planeswalkers. Why not have an untapped land that can proliferate? So really, really good mana sink. And then Balaged Recovery, right? I mean, just get a permanent back. That's nice. Or not even permanent, just target card. Just get whatever you want back. It can be a land if you need to. Don't be afraid. And then we are going to run the Bogmeister. So we're running Bojuka Bog because graveyards, you know? Just, you got to have something to answer graveyards. And that's what we're choosing to do. So we are running some Swampies. So these are the swamps. I do have some other ones. I would love to just get them all to be the Planeswalker lands. That's the goal. I just need a few more. And the same thing goes for our forests, right? We got these bad boys. We are running a lot more forests than we are swamps, because we just have a lot more forest-specific types of cards. But that really takes care of it for Carth the Lion. I have had a blast playing this deck. having planeswalkers that come in and are so impactful, and you get so much loyalty. I mean, I have not played a game with Carth where I don't have at least 2, 3, 4 planeswalkers out. And you just, because you're making so many tokens, it makes it so hard for people to get through to you. And I love it. This is by far one of my favorites so far. I mean, I love Walker lists. I think they're super fun. They're fun to have just in your repertoire of decks to kind of mess around with. And honestly, this one was fairly inexpensive to put together. So I was pretty happy with that, and there's a lot of swaps you can make. You definitely don't need to have like doubling season or any of those types of effects. And if you were to cut those, you could definitely assemble some more stuff. Just throw some more removal in there. I think it'd be great. So that really wraps it up for Carth the Lion. I hope you guys enjoyed. I would love to see you in the next one. Goodbye.